Can you imagine living with a secret so painful you couldn't tell a soul? A burden so heavy that it consumes your every waking moment, leaving you in a constant state of despair and isolation? This was the life of the woman with the issue of blood, a life marked by suffering and solitude. For 12 long years she endured relentless pain and discomfort, a relentless cycle of hope and disappointment. The Bible tells us she spent all her money on doctors, seeking a cure, but nothing worked. Every visit to a physician brought a glimmer of hope, only to be dashed by the harsh reality of her condition. In fact, she only got worse, her condition deteriorating with each passing day. But her pain ran deeper than her physical ailment. It was a wound that cut through her very soul, a constant reminder of her unworthiness. Her condition made her ritually unclean according to the law, a stigma that isolated her from society. This meant she couldn't worship in the temple, couldn't touch anyone, couldn't participate in the communal life that defined her culture. She couldn't even hug her own family, her touch considered defiling. The warmth of human connection was a distant memory. She lived in the shadows, isolated and alone, her existence a mere shadow of a life once filled with promise. Imagine the whispers, the judging stares, the fear in people's eyes as she passed. Every glance a reminder of her outcast status, every whisper a dagger to her heart. She was an outcast, deemed unworthy and untouchable, a pariah in her own community. Yet beneath the surface of her pain, a flicker of hope remained. A small, fragile ember that refused to be extinguished. She had heard whispers of a miracle worker, a man named Jesus, who healed the sick and welcomed the outcast. Stories of his compassion and power reached her ears, igniting that ember of hope into a flame. He offered hope where there was none, a beacon of light in her darkest hour. And in her heart, a desperate plan began to form. A plan fueled by the belief that perhaps, just perhaps, this man could change her life forever. Word spread like wildfire about Jesus and his miraculous power. People from surrounding towns flocked to him, seeking healing and hope. The woman with the issue of blood heard these stories, each one fueling the ember of faith within her. She knew in her heart that this Jesus could heal her, could break the chains of her suffering. One day she received news that Jesus would be passing through her town. This was her chance, her moment of truth. Ignoring the whispers and the fear that bound her, she resolved to reach Jesus, no matter the cost. She knew the law, knew that touching him would make him ritually unclean, yet something deeper stirred within her, a faith so profound, so desperate, that it eclipsed all fear and doubt. The crowd pressing in around Jesus was immense, a sea of faces all turned towards him, each one filled with hope and desperation. People jostled and pushed, eager to be near him to receive their miracle. The air was thick with anticipation, every person longing for a touch, a word, a glance from the man who had performed so many wonders. Yet amidst the chaos, the woman pressed on, her eyes fixed on her target. She'd heard the stories, the whispers of his power, and she believed with all her heart that he could heal her. She could see him now, his back to her as he spoke to his disciples. His presence was commanding, yet filled with a gentle authority that drew people to him. Her heart pounded in her chest, a drumbeat urging her forward. Each step was a battle, but she was determined. She had suffered for so long, and this was her moment. With every ounce of strength she had left, she pushed her way through the throng of people, her eyes never leaving Jesus. The crowd seemed to part just enough for her to squeeze through, as if guided by an unseen hand. Finally, she was close enough. She could almost feel the energy radiating from him, a beacon of hope in her darkest hour. Reaching out a trembling hand, she touched the edge of his garment, the soft fabric a lifeline to her weary soul. In that brief contact she poured all her faith, all her hope. At that moment she felt it, a surge of power, a warmth spreading through her body, making her whole. Her bleeding stopped. She was healed. Tears of relief and joy filled her eyes as she realized her suffering was over. She had been touched by a miracle. He sees, he knows, he heals. In every moment of our lives, he is aware of our struggles, our pain, and our deepest desires. He is not distant, but ever present, watching over us with a heart full of love and compassion. Jesus, though surrounded by the clamoring crowd, stopped. He was never too busy to notice the needs of those around him. Amidst the noise and chaos, he could sense the silent cries for help. He felt power flow from him and turned, asking, "Who touched me?" It was not just a physical touch he felt, but a touch of faith, a touch that reached deep into his heart. His disciples, bewildered by the question amid such chaos, responded, "Master, the people are crowding and pressing against you." But Jesus knew. He always knows. He can distinguish the touch of faith from the jostling of the crowd. He felt the faith radiating from the woman, the desperation in her touch. She had reached out in hope, believing that even the slightest contact with him could bring her healing. Trembling, the woman fell at his feet, confessing everything, her illness, her desperation, and her faith that led her to touch him. She poured out her heart, revealing the depth of her suffering and her unwavering belief in his power to heal. Jesus, with eyes filled with compassion, looked upon her, no longer an outcast, but a daughter. His gaze was not one of judgment, but of pure, unconditional love. "Daughter," he said gently, "your faith has healed you. Go in peace." His words were a balm to her soul, soothing her fears and affirming her worth. In that moment her shame and fear were washed away, replaced by the overwhelming love and acceptance of her Saviour. She was no longer defined by her illness, but by her faith and the love of Jesus. The story of the woman with the issue of blood is more than just a miracle of physical healing. It's a testament to the transformative power of faith. This woman, marginalized and ostracized, dared to believe. She dared to hope. She dared to reach out, even when fear and doubt threatened to consume her. And in that act of faith, she received more than physical healing. She received wholeness. Her story reminds us that Jesus sees us, even in our darkest moments. He sees past the labels, the shame and the fear. He sees our pain, our desperation, and most importantly, our faith. And when we, like the woman, reach out to him with humble hearts, he meets us where we are, ready to heal, to restore, and to make us whole. We all face challenges in life: illness, loss, fear, doubt. These struggles can make us feel isolated, alone, and afraid. But the story of the woman with the issue of blood offers a powerful message of hope. It reminds us that no matter how desperate our situation, no matter how deep our pain, Jesus is always there, waiting for us to reach out. He doesn't care about our past mistakes, our doubts, or our fears. All he cares about is our faith, our willingness to believe that he can heal us, restore us, and make us whole. Just like the woman, we too can experience the transformative power of faith. We just need to take that first step, to reach out and touch the hem of his garment. The story of the woman with the issue of blood is a beacon of hope for everyone. It's a reminder that no matter how lost, alone, or unworthy we may feel, Jesus sees us, he knows us, and he loves us. He is always ready to welcome us with open arms, to heal our wounds and to make us new. So let us approach his throne of grace with confidence, knowing that he hears our cries and sees our hearts. Let us, like the woman with the issue of blood, dare to believe, dare to hope, and dare to reach out for the healing touch of our Saviour. For in him we find not just healing for our bodies, but wholeness for our souls. If you found this video useful, please share your experiences in the comments below and subscribe to our channel. Also, don't go just yet though. Watch the next video on your screen.